Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our behind the scenes interview series. Today, I'm super excited to be joined by Lucas, who has been traveling to Antarctica for more than 20 years, actually. So he first went south in 2001 as biologist, and that initial experience clearly stuck because he has been going back ever since. And what makes Lucas' perspective so interesting is that he has worked across science, education, and expedition tourism, which gives him a very rounded view of what Antarctica is really about, and not just as a destination, but as an ecosystem as well. So these days, Lucas works as an expedition leader as well as head of expedition planning and staff at the Antarctica Expeditions on small ships like the MV Ushuaia, which carries less than 100 passengers. I think it's 90, but we'll get to that, which allows for more time ashore in a very different style of Antarctic experience. So, Lucas, it's really great to have you here with us today.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for the invitation. I would like to thank Expedition Cruise Network and everybody working at it, and of course to you, Agbil, for being so kind of inviting me and having this conversation.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. So, Lucas, let's start at the very beginning. When you first traveled to Antarctica in 2001, what was it about that first experience that really made you want to keep going back?
For me, it was mind-blowing. First of all, I would like to say Antarctica is the best place on Earth.
Okay.
It's a personal, of course, it's a personal opinion, but I'm guaranteed that if you go there, you will be this close to say this, what I said, if not to agree with me 100%. So I was there, I was young, I was
Mm.
naive the first time I was there, but I depart from Buenos Aires with the Argentinian icebreaker all along the Buenos Aires coast. And before reaching to the station I was staying, that is in one of the South Shetland Islands, or the northern part of the peninsula. I spent like 15 days traveling through different stations and places with the Argentine icebreaker. Then I spent 2 months there working with penguins, with skuas, with southern giant petrels, working with birds. That is my thing. And I just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with it. Everybody was so kind at the station. The experience, the ice, the icebergs, the sea, wildlife, everything was mind blowing. And I kept on going for 2 other years as a biologist, and then eventually I got hired by Antarctic Expeditions, and then I began working with tourism.
Okay, brilliant. So how these different areas, science, tourism, education, come together in your role as an expedition leader? Do you
Well, I
like
think
what did you pick up from those early roles and experiencing Antarctica as a scientist?
yeah, I think it gave me a good broad view of what to offer. Let's call it
Mm-hmm.
that way. What people need or what people might like to see. First of all, because I have all my science background, which is giving me a good technical knowledge of what is going on out there, or kind
Mm.
of. And also education, very, very, very important for me, being a teacher for so many years, more than 30 years of teaching. I have taught boys from 4 to 5, from people like 60 or so. I have taught in sports. I have taught in private institutions. I have taught at the university. So it gave me a really, really broad view of how to tell people, how to
Mm.
explain people, how to show people my technical background. And then of course, being an expedition leader, there's a lot of things to keep in mind, especially at the end, this is about people, because this
Yeah.
is about people experience. We go there, best place on earth. We need to take care of that. Safety first, then environment, and then our experience. But all that expertise and background gave me like the fine tuning to let people enjoy the best possible way they can all that we have to offer there in Antarctica. In our company, we say that of course we are professionals. We live from that. We are
Mm.
paying for that. We have to know what we're saying. We have to safety first, as I
Mm.
said before. We have to take care of Antarctica. So professional, 100%. But we say that being in a small ship like the Ushuaia with less than 100 passengers, we also need to be traveling companions. We are there for you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to let you about Antarctica. We're going to explain you about everything, biology, ice, geology, everything you need. but we also want to be traveling with you, which is one of our probably one of the things that kind of characterize us. Yes, we're gonna be traveling with you.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And is there anything at all that after 20 years of spending in South still surprises you?
Everything.
Everything, okay, yeah.
100% honest, everything. I'm a biologist, as I said
Mm,
before, so I love life. I love birds. I love penguins. I love
mm,
whales.
yeah,
Being next to a whale, close to a whale, especially one of the small boats we use, which we call them zodiacs.
yep,
You're there right, and the whale sometimes they get close to you. That is mind blowing. I mean,
mm,
it's the best wildlife experience I have ever had, and I've been traveling around South America and a few other places doing other stuff, but that's the best wildlife experience ever. But for me, the 100% thing is about ice and snow and glaciers and landscapes. Oh, it doesn't matter how many times you go there. Every time you open your window, you go into the outer deck, you go on land, you go for a Zodiac cruise. We look around with the guys we are working with. I said, "It's jaw dropping." It's like, wow, this is so beautiful. This is so amazing. For me, it's like, and it doesn't matter cloudy days, sunny days,
mm,
rain, snow, clear skies, whatever. You go out there, you look around, and your jaw go brown down.
yeah.
Amazing, amazing. It's mind blowing.
And
I love it.
brilliant. And I'm
I
sure,
love it.
and I'm sure in the last 20 years, you must have seen some changes that are happening around the peninsula, right? So both
Hmm.
from the positive and from a negative side of things. I mean, I've been lucky to visit Antarctica a couple of times in my lifetime. Once in 2000, in 20, I think 15, and a couple of years ago, and I already noticed some tiny changes. But if you could just like talk us through, I mean, what is changing in Antarctica around the peninsula from positive and the negative stuff?
Well, I tend to be very reluctant to give my opinion on that.
Okay.
Not because I don't want to answer the question. Please don't take me wrong, and that is
Mm,
because what we see it is not important in terms of climate change, for example.
mm,
When we talk about climate change and from a scientific point of view, I have to take a look at long-term data. It,
yeah.
it, it doesn't matter what I see.
Yeah.
What I see is just a little thing compared to all the data that is being collected now. So if you talk about my personal experience in terms of environment, not many changes, to be
Mhm.
honest. Some years we have less snow, some years you have more snow, some years you have less ice, some years you have more ice. But we know for sure, and that's what science says, and that the long-term data collection being
Mm,
put it together and being layered together above the peninsula, that peninsula is going through big change in terms of
mm,
climate change. It's really getting hot and hot every single year, and that's the
mm,
tendency. From the tourism point of view, well, there I can tell there have been quite a few changes. When I
mm,
started in 2003, I don't know, we were just a few ships there. Everything was kind of easy because you can go here, there, no bookings, nothing. So everything was like kind of a easy in that sense.
mm,
Now we have like 77 ships going there.
mm.
So we now we are
It's,
more organized. Of course, we have more restriction. That is the good side of it. But you have to book sites, you have to make selection, you have to make a lot of decisions that from the expedition leading point of view, it's harder.
mhm.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. In the old days, nowadays, Antarctica is the best place on earth. It's just amazing. Yes, I mean, I cannot express.
Yeah.
And probably well, you've been there. But
Yeah.
probably people listening now that never been there, they can see pictures and they can kind of see videos and
Mm,
documentaries. Fine. Well, from that, go 100% above that because you cannot capture. We always talk about that. We
mm,
cannot capture what we see in
yeah.
videos, in pictures. It's nothing like that. It's mind blowing. But a few changes, a few
Yeah.
changes. So we have to, for the good and the bad ones, we have to get used to them and keep on going and keep on taking care of Antarctica 100%.
Brilliant. So actually, next question probably relates to that a little bit. So from an expedition leader's perspective, what does a typical day in Antarctica actually look like? And especially on a ship that has fewer than 100 passengers, because I'm sure the ones who are listening, 100 passengers is a magical number in Antarctica for many different reasons. It's the maximum number of people allowed at any landing site, or most landing sites, and typically those with smaller ships have a little bit more time, I suppose. But if you can just please walk us through what an expedition day on board Ushuaia looks like.
Well, our expedition day, I would say they have like two main parts, morning and afternoon. Of course, we get up early in the morning, have breakfast, and ride straight, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour after breakfast, depending on weather conditions, situations, and all that kind of stuff. We plan an activity that is a landing or a zodiac cruise. Yes, in a landing you go to land, as the word says, and a zodiac cruise we get in those little rubber boats, which are amazing pieces of engineering, I have to say. And we go navigating among the ice and that kind of stuff, wildlife watching and all that stuff. That in the morning, afternoon we have lunch, and then afternoon we go again for another landing. That's something good for small ships like us with less than 100 people. First of all, because we go all at land at once. You don't have to take turns, no shifts, nothing like that. If you have 101 passengers, you have to split in two groups. So one group goes first, then the second one goes second. We don't do that all at once. So it's amazing, and we have a lot of time to be there online because we have the slots that we have to book to do the different activities. That is an online thing created by the IATO, which is the organization that kind of gather all the Antarctic tour operators. And so yes, and we spend a lot of time there. Why is that? We don't have to take turns, and we spend a lot of time with the people there on land, as most of our people is there on land. So we have a lot of time to talk about wildlife, ice, geology there on the field. What we are experiencing that thing, we kind of a lecture, having small talks with people about what's going on around us. So usually morning, afternoon activities, landing or zodiac cruise. We tend to do a lot of landings. Of course, we know people love zodiac cruises, but we still kind of a step on land, which is the main thing to do. Actually, only 25% of the activities in Antarctica, if we consider all the operators, Antarctic operators there in the white continent, only 25% of activities are landings. The rest of them are zodiac cruise and what we call ship cruise. We avoid that. We tend to go for the kind of expedition thing and set foot on land, the continent, on the different islands. And then at night, of course, dinner and meeting at the bar. That's another good thing about our ship. There's one place where we can gather all together and we create this kind of a community feelings. Most of the people that depart the Ushuaia say, I felt like I was traveling with family. Down. Our job is done. That's what we give, what we offer. You're gonna come with us. You're gonna come with that expedition spirit, but also you're gonna be part of a community. People all together having fun, talking. There's a lot of people who are now friends, long-term friends, after coming to the MV Ushuaia. So, and it's a tough day from there as an expedition leader. It's a long day. You have to wake up really early, check the local conditions, talk with the bridge, with the captain, with the officers to talk about the operations, then talk with the sailors, then arrange everything with your own staff, then take people ashore. So it's a long, long day for us.
Absolutely. And do you
Yeah.
tend to, so let's talk a little bit about, I know there is a question from the audience and we will be addressing that in a minute, but while we are talking about the clients, about the community on board the ships and so on, could you just walk me through the type of clients who travel with Ushuaia? So maybe a little bit demographic data, the age and stuff like that, and also whether you tend to, once you land, I understand all the guests land at the same time, but do you tend to offer different types of hikes or activities depending on the landing site for different interest groups? And how does that work? Because I think it's something quite interesting for travel advisors to hear about.
Yes, regarding the age, well, it depends a lot on each single trip. I would say from the top of my head that you should probably the average will be between 35 to 45,
Okay.
somewhere over there. So mid-age people, but of course we have people who it's 80 and we have young kids of,
Hmm.
I don't know, 20, 25. It depends on each trip. Nationalities is the same. Americans, I mean, people from North America tend to be like top, not only in our ship, but in Antarctica. I
Yep.
think they keep like 20% of the market. It's just going to them. Then China comes with 11 or something percent of the market. But I was saying, let's say last trip I was on the ship, we had 28 nationalities.
Wow.
So that give you, yes, a good idea of how broad our community is and how we work well with all of them. It doesn't matter from which nationality you are, we're gonna be there for you. Our common language, we have two common languages actually on the ship. I don't know if there are many companies doing that, but we're giving lectures and all the briefings and all the recaps and everything is being done in English and in Spanish.
Okay.
So that's good. Yeah, so that's good for people who are Spanish speakers or who want to practice Spanish and they want
Okay.
to kind of attend that side of the community. It's perfect done. But again, the community works together at all times. There's no distinguishing when
Hmm.
we're landing or any activities about languages. That's from the size of the kind of the demographic, and we do a lot of yeah. We are probably the company. Last year that was the one with more trips to Antarctica. We did 16 trips.
Okay.
Yeah, we start in October,
Hmm.
first days of October until the first days of April. Yes, we are the
Okay.
earliest one and the one staying longer.
Okay.
And regarding activities, well, they're independent on each landing site, of
Hmm.
course.
Yep.
There are some landing sites, probably you know, which are smaller. Some of them are bigger. Some of them you can climb. Some of them you can hike. But most of the time we're gonna be there for you all, just lecturing and talking, and also enjoying silence because I think silence is a big part of the experience. You know, just
Hmm.
contemplating and see what's going around. For next year, we have some good news. We started with kayaking and also be
Hmm.
back, so camping at night. So it's coming. It's coming. Probably my boss is gonna kill me because I'm telling this, but I'm pretty sure. Yes,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's coming. It's coming. So we will be offering other stuff for those adventure people who like to. Okay, I want a little bit more. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna kind of tackle that side of the market too, and let people know about this beautiful place Antarctica is.
Brilliant, thank you. And I think we have a question from the audience. There's someone asking, what are the benefits of even smaller groups, 50 or less in Antarctica? I see expeditions promoting this. So from your
Well, it
experience of,
yes. To be honest, the big benefit is to be less than 100. That's the big benefit,
hmm,
you know, because you can go all at one land. There's no issues regarding that. You have no restrictions. If we have more than 500 passengers, you
hmm,
cannot go on land. You have to
yeah,
stay on the ship at all times. So less than that, probably it depends how the community is managed. Then we come to less people and how that community is managed.
hmm,
I would say 50 is a good number. Less than that, well, since our kind of a more restricted stuff of being the socialization, what's going around now, what
hmm,
kind of people meet. But less than 100, that's what the benefit comes. Less than 50 or 50, well, you probably have a little bit more time on land. I wouldn't say a lot because
hmm.
you have less time traveling and operating from the Zodiac, from the ship with the Zodiacs to land. But I would say it's kind of the same, kind of the same.
Brilliant. So, and talking, obviously, I mean, Antarctica draws people very often because of the penguins and other charismatic wildlife species. So, what do you think guests or what do you see guests do not typically expect Antarctica to be and come away with something quite new and something they didn't anticipate? What is the part of the experience that you'd say is that?
I think, well, penguins are so funny. I love them. I have worked with them with the three.
Yeah.
We have only five species breeding in Antarctica, and I
Mm.
have worked as a biologist with three of
Yeah.
them. Love those guys. They're so funny, so cute, and so interesting from the biological point of view. So people kind of see them as funny thing, but as we go there on land and we explain how those they are for me evolutionary machines. You know, they are an amazing creation of evolution. People goes, wow, they can do this. Wow. That's first of all, that's something amazing. There's the other kind of wildlife which are really amazing, like terns, skuas, petrels, seals. Of course, you tend to find a lot of seals on land. Uh, Probably whales is something people do not expect to be such an amazing experience with those gentle giants, as we call them. You're there floating in the zodiac, and suddenly next to you, that huge mass show up next to you is crazy. But I believe probably, and again, and that's what people do not kind of grasp when you see videos and pictures, landscapes.
Mm.
Oh, navigating in between icebergs, of course, we're always on the safe side, but navigating among them is wow. Some people say it's like, I don't know. We went to, there's a place which is called the Iceberg Alley. It's in Salpetriere Bay. So you go in between the ice, it's mind blowing. I was with a guy next to me. I was riding the Zodiac, being a Zodiac driver. And this guy was saying, this is paradise. This is paradise. And he was crying, you know.
Uh,
He was crying. That kind of, yeah, that kind of things happens there. Same boat at the front. There was this lady saying, "Is this a dream?" Like,
oh yeah,
not in the in the sense of the
yeah,
dream
of
of
course.
I came to Antarctica, it was my dream. No, is this real?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
this happening? What is happening? I'm not being unplugged, you know, like in a kind of a matrix
uh,
style. Is this happening? Are my eyes telling me the truth? What is going on here? Is that kind of thing. For me, the landscapes are poof,
yeah,
mind blowing. And again, it doesn't matter how many pictures, videos you see. When you go there, you are in awe. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just amazing. So probably
Absolutely.
the best experience comes for people come from that. Yeah, for sure.
Brilliant. And again, allowing travelers to spend a bit more time ashore, and being able to do that to start with. How do you think that particular element of traveling with Antarctic expeditions can deepen guests' understanding of Antarctica as an ecosystem, not just a destination, that you come and visit and as a once in a lifetime experience and sort of and go away.
Being more time ashore give you especially more time, first of all, to contemplate. As I say, we
Yeah.
also, for us, it's very important to have talks, to have lectures, to talk about penguin biology, to talk about icebergs, to talk about how we consider glaciers as living organisms because they're moving and changing all the time. We can talk hours about that, but also silence. For us, silence is a key, it's
Mm,
a main thing, it's a key thing in Antarctica. So contemplating what's around us, you need time for that. You need time to find your own mood, to kind of reach your own level of energy where you can just stay there and
mm,
watch what's around and absorb that, or just kind of a blend into that more than absorb that. So it gives you more time to do that, to be on your own, to contemplate. It gives you more time to be there on the field and learn right there on the spot, as we
mm,
say, as we have in small talks or small lectures in some corners close to a penguin colony or next to a seal. You will find one of our specialists over there telling you about the biology, showing you about the anatomy and all that kind of stuff. And also to kind of especially in places where you have more time to walk, more space to walk, like Deception Island, a
mm,
beautiful place with an active volcano. Well, you have more time to spend there and know more things, of course. So time is essential, of course. And this is to keep in mind. It's not mandatory to be there on the field all the time. If you want to go back,
mm.
I don't know, you find your expedition leaders, one of your guys, you say, "Hey, Lucas, I want to go back." No issues. I call you Zodiac. The Zodiac comes pick you up at the shore, and then you go back to the ship. So it's at the end, it's about how you're going to experience it. We give you the best opportunities to enjoy as much as you can. You're done. You want to go back to the ship? No issues. You want to stay until the end, so they're back to the ship? Stay with us. We're going to be there for you, 100%.
Brilliant. And in terms of the onboard experience, because obviously you have a landing in the morning, a landing in the afternoon. Uh, what do guests do on board the ship? I'm sure being able to spend that time ashore can also tire you, and you may as well just
Yeah.
want to relax and read a book or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
what sort of just walk through the amenities or activities, if you have any, for the downtime or when the ship is transitioning from one landing place to the other. What guests can expect on board the Ushuaia?
As you well said, as you will see, as we
Yeah.
have activities in mornings and activity in the afternoon, people tend to say, okay, I want to chill down a little bit in those free times. But let's talk about from Ushuaia to Antarctica, but because it's
Okay.
usually that we have a lot of free time there. Yes, we have a lot
Mm.
of free time. Well, then we will be offering lectures. We have
Mhm.
specialists on geology, history, biology, birds, mammals, ecology. Most of our guys, they have a diploma on geology, biology, or they can also be mountaineering guides.
Mhm.
So we will be lecturing all the time. We will be putting movies related to Antarctica on the way there. We're going to be doing some activities, what we call with citizen science, which is we
Okay.
help science to improve, like bird watching from the outer decks.
Mhm.
We're going to give you small lectures about how to identify birds, and we're going to go all together onto the outer decks and try to see what's around us. And also with whales, we are part of a program that is called Happy Whale,
Mm.
where we take pictures of different whales and help identify them so scientists can track where they are and which part of
Mhm.
Antarctica or whatever. And then we also have a few nights where we gather together at the bar, which is a common big lounge, which is, I would say, the common place for the whole ship. We're going to have a lot of fun there. We have 2 talent show nights.
Okay.
Your
What
friend
does that
Martin,
entail?
yeah, your friend Martin's been there, so he knows what I'm talking about. Lot of fun. Usually the staff and people from the crew will wreck the ice, and then people show up, and we find really funny things and really talented people. Extremely,
Okay.
so we should go, wow, what a performance! Yes, we have 2 of those. Then we also have what we call the Captain's Dinner Night, which is
Okay.
the last night where we give people diplomas and a lot of information about our trip, and then we go for a karaoke night after that. Also, we what we call fun facts, which
Okay.
are always on the screens of our common lounge, displaying information about, I don't know, biology, history, geology, climate
Mm.
change, logistics, tourism, about Antarctica at all times. And depending on people's mood, we tend to, as I would say, every night when we don't have a party, we put a movie.
Okay.
And sometimes in the afternoon, we put a short documentary that people kind of, especially when we have like long distance from one side to the other,
Mhm.
and we have 2 hours for free, we tend to put a documentary there so people can enjoy. And very, very important, another thing that kind of I think is not unique, but not a lot of the ships do it. We have an open bridge policy.
Okay.
You want to go to the bridge, we there with the officers, the captain.
Mm.
They will show you how every single device, every single radar, GPS, this and that
Mm.
works. They will show you the maps. They will show you how we navigate. And from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m., the bridge is open. So you can go there, learn with our officers, and also be there to spot wildlife, because bridge is the highest point on the ship
Mm.
and is the best place to spot wildlife.
Brilliant. And I would imagine you also have daily recaps and briefings where you talk to guests about what's next and what they saw.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We usually we start with a recap. Yeah, but that is some people might not know, but that
Mm.
is when we tell people what
Yeah.
we've been seeing, where we've been. So
Yeah.
our especially sometimes they give short recaps of 5 minutes, ten
Yeah.
minutes about any. I don't know. We have seen this particular whale, so they will talk a short recap about that particular whale, and then we will tell you about the history, and then we will tell what we've been doing through the day, and then we will have a briefing about tomorrow's activities, letting people where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, about this the safety on the area, all the protocols we have to follow for each particular site. General
Mhm.
protocols, of course. A reminder is always good,
Yeah.
but also some particular characteristics of each particular area, how the trekking is going to be, if there will be snow or not, it will be hard trekking or kind of a easy pace trekking. It depends a lot on each place. But yes, we do that every single day so people can they can be prepared for what's coming next. 100%.
Absolutely. So, again, in the context, because we were talking about this earlier, the expedition cruising to Antarctica has become a definitely more popular activity since you joined the first trips 20 years ago. And as you rightly mentioned, there are over 77 ships now traveling around. So I think one part of the equation is very clear that Ushuaia is a great ship for those seeking maximum time ashore, because the size ship alone allows for that possibility just on the basis of IATA regulations and all that. There's obviously the other side of things where I think, looking at how the industry has changed in the last couple of years, it definitely has become more luxurious, right? So in terms of the ships having more amenities, all-inclusive bases, and all these kind of things. So for those who are listening for this particular webinar, how would you position Antarctic Expeditions and Ushuaia from that point of view? Because, not everybody needs that, but there will be clients who will want to have those creature comforts and so on. So how would you position Ushuaia? Who would be the perfect client to travel with Antarctic Expeditions to Antarctica?
Yes, that's a really good question because, as you well said, the market is changing a lot. Tourism in Antarctica is changing a lot. Now we have bigger ships with a lot of facilities, saunas, gyms, and spa and swimming pools. I don't know, basketball pitch. Yeah, a lot of
Hopefully
stuff. These
not.
things are.
Yeah.
Well, the other day we saw one. Yeah, it
Really?
was
Okay.
one of the huge one. One of the huge one. They don't land at all, but there was a basketball pitch on top
Okay.
on the upper deck. Well, but we are on expedition cruise, 100%,
Okay.
100%. Our ship have some basic amenities. It's a comfortable ship. It has been refurbished in the last 2 years. All of it has been refurbished, so we have really good cabins and really good accommodations. We also have that area, common area, what we call the bar or the common lounge, where we have like big semicircle sofas. We can relax young people, but we are not on the luxury side of that. 100%. Our thing is our expedition. Our thing is experience. Our thing is to be there and to be there, presence. One of the things that people don't usually think when you take a big ship, every time you want to go to an outer deck, or they call, I want to, there are whales on the bow of the ship, you have to take 10, 12 minutes to get there. In the Ushuaia, you're going to be there in seconds. Yes? Our ship is really, I
Compact.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, compact. So as soon as we see something, you're gonna be out there in the outer decks. As soon as you heard an announcement saying we are seeing, I don't know, leopard seals on an ice floor as we're navigating, you're gonna be there at the bridge ready to say it. And that's really important because that kind of expedition spirit and sense is that what we have been looking for. And of course, you're gonna be there with the staff at all times.
Yeah.
100% again, because we're gonna be bumping into each other. We cannot avoid it. So we're gonna be talking about you're gonna be learning not only through the lectures, the formal lectures, the briefings, and the recaps, but also when we are there sitting together, having a coffee, having a tea, having, I don't know, chocolate with that for free on the ship. That's also good. So you can go have your cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever, sit down and meet the guys and talk with them. So it's for me, I have done some big ships, and I like them. They're good, but I prefer 100% small ships because you feel like you are there.
That's
In
brilliant.
the other way you feel like you're in a city there. but
Okay.
yeah, but with Ushuaia, you yourself gonna be there. Believe me.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good.
And talking about the expedition team, so for 90 travelers, how many expedition team members do you typically have on board Ushuaia?
We have six people, what we
Okay.
call staff.
Okay.
Yes, which include professionals from different fields, as I said, geologists,
Mm-hmm.
biologists, mountaineering, trekking guides, uh, a broad view on every single subject
Mm-hmm.
to kind of let people know about Antarctica. And then we have a group of sailors who
Okay.
take us on land, on
Okay.
the Zodiac cruise and also on every single landing. Some other people have naturalists instead of sailors.
Okay.
We prefer to do that. So when you're going on a Zodiac cruise, they're gonna be a sailor and a guide with you there
And Zodiac.
on the Zodiac. Yes. So the team that works on land, we
Mm-hmm.
are more or less 14 people, seven sailors and yeah, 13, seven sailors and six people.
Of
Yep.
course. That's
Yeah,
brilliant because
yeah.
that allows the expedition team members then to really dedicate the time to talk to the travelers, I suppose, and explain what they're
100%.
saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm taking care of them, of course. I'm
of
taking care
course,
of
yeah,
land. Yes, yes. Safety always for us is first. Always,
absolutely,
always. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, I think I mean, obviously, actually I don't really know the level of expertise of our today's listeners, but I would like to maybe touch a little bit on Antarctic season, because you mentioned you are the first one's in, the last one's out, and
Yes, that's who we
and
are.
I think I mean, I think fairly, I think most of the people would know that peak seasons around January and the beginning of February. That's when most of people want to go to, but are there any times of the year where you feel is a missed opportunity, or for people to consider, both from a maybe price point of view,
Yeah.
be from the experience actually, and I am also particularly interested to hearing from you the very beginning and the very last voyage, because I think it's very important that people understand the implications of changing light and wildlife and what's happening during those particular times,
Hmm.
to make sure that they are getting the Antarctic experience that they are hoping for, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you will say, in those 6 years of operation, as
Hmm.
we call them, of the season, Antarctica changed a lot.
Hmm.
At the beginning, at the beginning of Antarctica, would probably is the one I like the most. That is October, November, up to December, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
There's Antarctica is white because you
Hmm.
have a lot of snow all over the place, especially in the first 2 months.
Hmm.
Everything looks white, and I love that, as I well explained before.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you have wildlife, of course. You have penguins, you have the stuff. You have a few whales, not that
Okay.
many whales. If you want to see whales, probably the best time to see those are kind of mid-December until February, somewhere over there. It's going to be full of whales. You're going to have less snow. And also you will be seeing a lot of chicks, especially penguin chicks,
Hmm.
in January and in February, growing, of course. And at the end of the trip, it's kind of different because you have less snow, you have less ships around, which is easier and let you go to the best possible places. And also you have the chicks being kind of getting their independence.
Hmm.
In terms of our activities during the, of course, we adapt to those different opportunities we have along the season, but our thing kind of remains in this. The essence is the same. Go there and have a great time. So again, if you want to see the white Antarctica, goes October, November. You want to see wildlife exploding, the bloom of wildlife, let's call it that way, go January and February. And you want to see funny penguins at the end of the season, a little bit of less snow, and the cheapest tickets go with
Yeah.
March and the beginning of April. I think kind of a summarize kind of the whole 6 months of operations that we do in Antarctica.
And I think there's light changes as well, right? Because
Oh yeah,
obviously,
yes, of
so that's,
course,
yeah.
of
So
course.
so
When you go,
sunsets probably, like amazing
yeah,
towards
yeah.
the end of the season, and
Okay, so if you want to
glorious,
see
yeah,
night skies, you should go at the beginning or at the end of the season because in the middle is gonna be bright day during the holidays. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there is a night because we know there is a night, but when you go there, you don't feel the sun goes down, and 3 hours later it goes up again, and in the middle, all you can see is like a sunset sky at all times. So there is no night. So
Okay.
yes. It depends on what you want to see. Of course, you have to choose the right season.
And please remind me the itineraries. Do you tend to focus predominantly on the peninsula, or there's a mix of South Georgia and Falklands as well? How do you structure your season from a point of view of duration, where people can go and what they can experience?
Yeah, we have what we call 4 different trips. One
Okay.
is called Classic Antarctica that goes from Ushuaia to Antarctica. Of course, trying to know the South Shetland Islands, which are really interesting, and then reaching the peninsula. We
Mm-hmm.
always go on those classical trips. We go on the west side of the peninsula,
Mm-hmm.
reaching as south as we can, setting foot on land on the main continent. Yes, we usually have 2 or 3 continental landings, but of course, around the continent, there's a lot of beautiful islands
Mm.
and passages that we visit, and we do. Then we have at the beginning of the season another trip that goes from Ushuaia to the Falkland Islands,
Mm-hmm.
from the Falkland Islands to South Georgia, from South Georgia to Antarctica, and from Antarctica back to Ushuaia. And that trip lasts 21, 22 days.
Okay.
It's a different, completely different experience, especially because of South Georgia, which is it's a mind-blowing place. I guess from the wildlife point of view, it's just amazing.
Mm.
Being there with those king penguin colonies, more than I don't know, 200,000 breeding pairs there. It looks crazy. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And also we have 2 other trips. One of them is we go one trip that goes to the Weddell Seal, that is to the
Okay.
east side of the peninsula. Yes, and another one that crosses the polar circle.
Okay.
And those 2 usually they run on February.
Okay.
We do it on February is because when we have less ice on Antarctica, so the possibilities to reach the areas you expect to do is are higher. And this is very important for people to understand. The people listening there, flexibility is the key to success in Antarctica. You depend on weather, on ice, on distance, on availability of sites. But then when you check all those boxes, you need to go there and check the local conditions. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have to be making there a lot of decisions there with me, myself as an expedition leader, and of course on the bridge with the officers saying how
Mm.
our operation is going to be, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, but we have to be really flexible. So sometimes what is supposed to be a landing, it becomes a Zodiac cruise, and sometimes what is supposed to be a Zodiac cruise becomes a landing, or this or that. But for sure, we try to make the most of our trip. We know people place a lot of money. We know that for people, most of the people probably coming with us, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's the dream. So we're going to go for it 100% at all times.
So do you feel the bump when you cross the Antarctic Circle?
You
I
goes
just
like that.
just a joke.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you feel it.
anyway,
Yeah.
so does it it's like probably a question I shouldn't be asking, but I will ask it anyway.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Does it help being do you ever get chances to visit research bases? I know that for a couple of years they probably were closed, but
They
also
were close.
does it help at all being a company so deeply seated in the Antarctic travel, from a point of view of relationships you have
Yes.
forged in the years and so on? Can you go back now to the research bases? Or
Actually, there is only one research station that is receiving people. That is
okay,
Berznatsky, the
okay,
Ukrainian one. But the
okay.
rest of the bases are not receiving passengers
Mm,
or cruise ships. That is because of the HPAI, which is an avian influenza
yeah.
that is there in Antarctica. That's
Okay.
what we follow.
Yeah.
All of the ships going to Antarctica. We follow biosecurity protocols. We are really
Okay.
strict on that,
Mm,
but we cannot go into scientific stations no more
okay.
unless we have a previous arrangement with the national authority of that station.
Okay.
Yes, but we tend not to do that. Now, there's one place that we visit
Mm-hmm.
that is called Port Locroy,
Yeah.
which is a postcard office in
Yeah.
Antarctica,
Yeah.
and also a historical site from the
Yeah.
UK Antarctic Trust and the UK government.
Yeah.
We can visit that place, but then and sometimes we can go to some scientific stations like Brown Station, but when there is nobody there.
Mm.
We cannot
Okay.
enter the buildings. We just go around and take a look at them and explain people how it's living in Antarctica. And also, that's also really something good to point out. We have quite a few of our guys has been working in scientific stations, so they know what they're talking about when we reach that kind of
Okay.
areas. But yes, in the old days, it used to be easier. So usually you used to maybe send an email or get in touch with radio. And when you come in with a small ship, people tend to say from station says, "Oh yes, come in." So
Okay.
we all go on land. They show us their facilities. They explain us how they work and everything around that. Yeah.
Okay.
But those days, I think, will have to wait at the moment due to this virus we have now in Antarctica, and we don't want to spread it all over the place. So
Of
the
course.
scientific stations are not welcoming us
Mm.
anymore at the moment. At the moment.
And I think, if correct me if I'm mistaken, I think Port Lockroy, also being a small ship, plays into your advantage, because I think they have quite,
Yes.
it's a quite challenging place to get to start with,
Yeah.
and second of all, they have very strict numbers, because it's also a colony of genter penguins that shares a relatively small space
Yes.
where it's located. So I think
And
it's,
also, it's a really small building.
yeah.
So you cannot go all at once on the building. For that, we kind of split our groups. Once go to a nearby place called Jugla,
Okay.
Jugla Point. We take people there, see watching penguins, and then we swap.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the buildings themselves are really, really small,
Yeah.
and also it's full of penguins all over the place. So you have to be really careful. So
Yeah.
we only take 50 people to that side, 50 to the other, or 45 and 45, and then we swapped. Those being on the penguin colony goes to Port Locro, and those in Port Locro goes to the penguin colony, and
Okay.
everybody is happy. Usually we spend in Port Locro like an hour and a half
Yeah.
or so, so there's enough time to buy stuff, to send postcards, to visit the historical buildings, and to talk with the guys living there, which is also really, really interesting.
Absolutely, because I think it's probably Port Lockroy probably is one of the most desired sites, for better for worse, for those who visit Antarctica. But equally, I think few people realize that it's not as easy for larger companies to have an opportunity to
No.
visit, because it's just such a small space. Well, I think our time is coming to the end, but I would like to open questions to the audience. If audience has any questions whatsoever, this is your time to ask away. Don't know if anyone has any questions about Antarctica or Antarctic expeditions. Nope, I don't think so. Well, Lucas,
Well,
it's been,
yeah,
yeah.
yes. Now, I just wanted to tell you also another important thing. A big part of our crew is Argentinian, as I am.
Okay, yeah.
So we usually in really nice places where there is no wind, sun comes out, we go for an Argentina barbecue, 100%
Ah.
there. Oh yes, people love it, love it, love it. Best meat in the world. Sorry, no modesty here, no modesty.
Best, tell me as
Best
well as best wine. Well, for
the
sure, best
best
Malbec.
wine, of course. Best Malbec and best meat in the world. So if you come up with us, you're gonna experience that. And also another activity we do that I didn't mention is the polar plunge.
Okay, yeah.
People would love to have a polar plunge. That is to take a bath in Antarctica, and we always do that for sure. We know how important it is for a lot of our clients and expeditioners. So that's another thing that I didn't mention that I think was it was really good to mention it so people can know about it.
Brilliant. And any last words about Enterprise plans for the next couple of years, other than introducing these very cool activities, or anything else you'd like to share?
Stay tuned to our website that is antapply.com because there are good things coming ahead.
Okay.
100% believe in what I say. Now we have a small yacht, yes, for 8 people, seven to 8 people. So if you want to book a completely different experience, go through a web page and few things coming probably in the next 2 3 months. So stay tuned to our website because some good news are coming in.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lucas. I really appreciate your time this afternoon, morning, wherever you are. But it's been brilliant, and thank you. Good luck, and have a good rest of the season, and happy festive period as we're heading now to Christmas.
Thanks to
Take care.
you. Thanks to Expedition Cruise Network. Bye bye, everybody. Keep in touch and
Yes.
keep enjoying, keep smiling at all times.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.